Our Atari 2600 game list continues with Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers was first introduced by Nintendo for the arcades in 1983. The Atari 2600 version was released that same year on July 26th. The cartridge sold over 1.5 million in the first year of release, making it the best-selling cart for 1983. Next on the list is, you guessed it, Space Invaders. Space Invaders was developed in 1978 by Taito for the arcade. The Atari 2600 version was released in 1980 and added a little more options in the gameplay. They incorporated a two-player version, allowed a difficulty level that had the shields move and the invader shots fired at a zigzag. There was also a difficulty level for invisible invaders. The number of invaders also was reduced from 55 in the arcade version to 36 in the Atari version. Space Invaders was designed and developed by Rick Maurer prior to working at Atari. Maurer developed another version of Space Invaders while he was employed at Atari. The CEO of Atari seen the arcade version do very well and decided to obtain the rights to the game for the home console. Once he secured the rights, he had Maurer work on the code for the Atari 2600. Space Invaders was one of the biggest hits for Atari in 1980. It had went on to become one of the best sellers for the system. Now comes Jungle Hunt. Jungle Hunt was developed and published by Taito in 1982 for the arcades. It was originally distributed in 1982 as Jungle King. The title was quickly changed to Jungle Hunt, following a copyright dispute over its likeness to Tarzan. Atari 2600 version is released in 1983. Moving along to our next game, River Raid. River Raid was introduced to the Atari collection in December of 1982. The game was developed and published by Activision and designed by Carol Shaw. Shaw had worked for Activision before she had moved to Atari. Shaw had programmed and designed River Raid herself. River Raid had went on, of course, to become the second best-selling game for the Atari in 1983. One side note of this game was it was banned in West Germany to minors because it depicted a military-themed content. The Atari version of this game sold nearly 1 million copies by January 1984. Last on our list for today is none other than Q-bert. Q-bert was developed and published by Gaudia for the arcade. The game used isometric graphics to create a pseudo-3D effect. In 1982, Parker Brothers secured the license to publish the home version of the arcade. Parker Brothers first ported to the Atari 2600. Even though it was a top seller in the day and one of the top arcade games, the Atari 2600 got mixed reviews and was not as prominent as expected. The sales still did well, mainly because, like many of these games, came down to the arcade versions that really promoted the sales of the home versions. Hope you enjoyed our top 5 Atari 2600 games for today. If you like this type of content, like and subscribe.